Hey guys, Broheen here from the Gamers Emporium channel. How is everybody today? So what we're going to cover today is a video that's basically some information on Final Fantasy XIV on one of the things that I think is the biggest struggle in when I start a new MMO. And that struggle is, what's the fastest way to level? And this one in particular is going to be more informative towards the people that have completed their first class and are now trying to do their second and or third class when you no longer really have main story quests, but I'll touch a little bit on first class things, but mostly this is going to be for what do you do after the first class is complete and you're starting your second class. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so you're going to want to hit your options button or go to your main menu if you're on PC, and then go under the social tab and then go down to free companies. Once you're in the free company screen, you'll see everything that there is to do in a free company if you are already in a free company. Now, we'll touch more on that in just a moment. If you're not in a free company, pretty much all you have to do, regardless of which server you are on, is run around in one of the main cities, and chances are somebody will notice that you don't have a free company and they'll send you a random invite. Now, taking this random invite is absolutely okay, because what you're seeing here on the screen is a 10% XP buff that the free company offers if the free company leadership puts up this buff using company seals. The other good part about being in a free company is that a lot of times in their housing, which you guys can go look up things about housing in the game, but the free company itself has housing, and inside that housing, a lot of times what they will do for people, especially my own free company does this, they'll set out food that you can actually eat that gives you a 3% XP buff for a total of 30 minutes. And then in addition to anything else in there, there's different types of vendors that offer crafting mats for if you would like to, per se, make some of this food for yourself. So that's pretty much it. That's going to be one of the biggest benefits that you have offered to you at an early point in the game, to be able to get an extra 13% XP across the board. You can't really get a whole lot better than that anywhere else in the game. So keep that in mind and make sure that you're getting an extra 13% on everything you do. That is crucial to being leveled fast. The next segment of this video is going to be about story quests and the hunt log. So story quests provide the most XP, but they're not always available, especially if you're too low of level to even pick up the next story quest. Now, what you can do during that point in time is do some side quests and see if you can improve your gear, but you don't really need to focus on side quests as much, because the gear you can buy for the most part with your gil on the market board. Now, the hunt log, you'll go through the hunt log as I'm showing here, and you'll get XP from chain bonuses and killing the same thing repeatedly. You'll get XP from completion per enemy type killed, and then you'll get XP from completion of each tier, as well as exploring the map. You'll get XP from completing explorations in your achievements as well. So, and hunt logs play a part in that, because to do the hunt logs, you have to actually roam around and seek out these enemies. Now, you won't fully explore every part of the map, but I encourage you to do so, just because the XP is so great from actually exploring the entire map. Now we're going to talk about the party finder. This is going to lead into the next segment, so go under your main menu, go over to party, and then down into party finder, and you'll see a bunch of gibberish on your screen. Now, the party finder is kind of goofy, so you can see that people are running multiple different things, and the party finder is basically the looking for group process. So you can actually open this party finder, go through the list, and find out what people are doing and how many people are in the party, how much time is left on that party, and you can simply click one and join the party. Now, some parties have different requirements, such as what kind of job or class that you're playing, and you'll only be allowed in if you are in that particular class. Now, other parties also have no prerequisite, so you'll be able to join and do the same thing they're doing. Now, the reason we explain this is because we're going to talk about fates. Now, fates are basically like, for you guys that have played Rift with me, they're basically like zone events. So in that sense, fates are going to be crucial from the 1 to 10 grind for those of you that already have your first class and you're working on your second class and no longer have your main story quests or your side story quests left anymore. So what do you do at that point? Levy quests aren't open until level 10, dungeons aren't open till level 15, so this is what you do. You go run fates and kill a bunch of stuff. Now, the thing about fates and the party finder is the more people there are, the more XP you're going to get. You're also, in addition to XP from completing the fates, you're going to get Grand Company seals for when you join your Grand Company. You'll get seals for them. And then the biggest thing is if you can't get into a party because all of the parties are full, this will tell you where people are doing the fates if you cannot get into a party via the party finder. So now I've switched over to a clip of my, I believe it was level 19 Marauder. The reason for this is because I have a couple extra tips for you. Now, when you're at max level, for me that's 50 because I don't actually have Heavensward yet, so I can't pass anymore past level 50. So therefore I gain no XP, but for the purpose of this video, I want to show you what the XP reward was for when you complete a fate. So we're running to 1, and it's already in progress, and it's going to be completed, and you'll see what you get from doing a fate. Now, thing about fates is don't do them outside of your level. For one, they're harder, and the reason for them being harder is because you get level synced. When you get level synced down, you no longer have access to some of your abilities that are higher than the level you've been synced down to. And in addition to that, you actually get less XP. Now, the point of level syncing is to make it so you're equal to that fate level. However, it sends you down to about 1 to 2 levels higher than the actual level than the fate is, which means because you're higher level than the fate, you actually get reduced XP. So those are my best tips for you as far as fates. And fates can be boring, but check this out. You get a decent amount of XP and Grand Company seals and a little bit of gil for your pockets. Once you've hit level 10, a new thing opens up called guild hests. Now, guild hests are an intro to how dungeons work. They're great XP for the first time completion. You earn Grand Company seals out of it if you have them available to you, and there's also a preferred class bonus. For instance, if it says the preferred class is a tank, because there's a lack of tanks actually running guild hests, they want a tank to queue, and they reward them for that, which is a real cool part of this game, and I really like that because I'm playing a tank currently in this segment, so I'm going to get a bonus at the end because nobody else wants to tank and I'm stepping up and doing the extra work. There's also a thing called roulette. Now, roulette is basically a daily bonus. You get to run a roulette guild hest, which is a random guild hest of the ones that are available to you. And by running that and doing so, and upon completion, you get a bonus once a day for completing the roulette guild hests. These are, as I said, great intro to how dungeons work. They give you level 10 to level 15 to basically learn how to do dungeons, and the guild hest menu is located in the duty finder under the main menu. Also, on a side note, at the end of a guild hest and at the end of a dungeon, you will be asked to commend other players. Commending other players is nice because you can actually basically say, good job in doing your role during this guild hest or dungeon. This basically adds up to the more commendations you have, the better of a player you'll be known as. And there's actually rewards for being commended, such as mounts and other various things, minions in the game and whatnot. So please commend people that do well. From level 10 and up, there's also another portion of this game that opens up to you. These are called Levy Quests. There's 2 kinds of Levy Quests. There's normal ones and there's Grand Company Levy Quests. For the purpose of this video, we're not going to really go into Grand Company Levy Quests. However, I will say, once you've unlocked the Grand Company Levy Quests are better because they yield about the same amount of XP as a normal Battlecraft Levy Quest. And they also will give you Grand Company seals in addition to the gil that you get. So now I say level 10 and up for this. Levy Quest, what a Levy Quest is when you talk to the Levy Quest NPC, they give you a menu and basically quests or tasks to fulfill. So by doing these, you gain extra XP, and for completing them on a higher difficulty, you also get bonus XP and bonus money. And for those in Grand Companies, doing the Grand Company ones, you'll get bonus seals as well. So now the thing is, Levy Quests are great for all around for leveling, especially for your second and or third and beyond class. You don't really have to do them too often during your first class because you've got the story missions and you've got the side missions, but they provide a good source of XP gain for when you get into those lulls between, let's say, between level 10 and 20. I always struggled right around 16 and 17 to bump myself up to the next quests. So they work really well to fill that void of where you don't really have anything to do. So now you always want to do these on a +4 difficulty if possible, because you're going to get that much greater of a reward out of them. Therefore, you're going to level up way more faster. You're going to get a lot more money. You're going to get a lot more seals. And it's just better to do it that way, to tough it out and to challenge yourself. So what fun would the game be without a little bit of challenge? Now, the way I did this is each zone has its own Levy Quests and its own NPCs that offer them. So the Grand Company Levy Quests, those are specific to certain zones. What I suggest doing is actually finding a guide, find a good guide online, Google it. There's some good guides on gamerscape.com. There's also a Final Fantasy XIV wiki that you can go online and find a list of all the Levy Quest NPC locations and what levels they provide. Last but not least, we have dungeons to cover. I apologize about the random webcam or face cam in there, but that does not apply to this. This is just some old footage that I had from a previous video that I did, so disregard it. I'm not out of sync by any means. So dungeons are definitely the best gain of XP by far. Not only do you get a huge increase in amount of XP per kill of each mob inside of the dungeon, but each boss that you down grants a metric shit ton of XP for the most part, especially if you've got your 10% buff from your free company that we talked about earlier, and your 3% buff from the food that you ate from your free company or anything that you've made, bought, or gotten as reward or picked up from quests. Now, the roulette daily bonuses and the preferred class bonuses both also apply to dungeons. So if you're a tank and it's calling for a tank, you're going to get that reward for stepping up to the plate and doing that job when no one else wanted to, as well as the roulette. You can go in solo and do one of these. Roulette only applies to solo, by the way. I did forget to mention that before. But when you're playing solo and you do roulette, you have to queue up solo as well as everybody else, and it throws all you guys into the mix, and you guys all get that bonus at the end. Now, another perk for a dungeon is that you get a lot better gear drops. You'll notice that the drops that come out will be typically blue or pink, and those are going to have much higher stats and higher quality in them than what any other piece of gear that you can typically get in the game will have. Now, queue times for dungeons typically take a long time, especially if you're a DPS. Also, they typically are almost instant when you're playing a tank, because we all know in every MMO, nobody wants to tank. And sometimes they can be moderately long for healers, but if you're a healer, you really are only waiting for that tank, because now the healer role is filled since you queued up. You can select dungeons in the duty finder in a group, but you have to queue for a specific dungeon in order to get in and find a group for it. However, there's no loss in extra XP that would normally be rewarded within the dungeon or for the completion of the dungeon. You just don't get that daily bonus for it. So everything is the same. So yes, you can queue with friends. and specific queue and still reap the benefits of it. Now, if you are a DPS and you're waiting in queue, the ideal thing to do, especially while still leveling, are Levy Quests. You can continue your main and side missions. You can look into your hunt log and complete your hunt log, go around and explore the map and get the extra XP from there. You can run fates and anything else. You can even run around and kill random shit and work for chain bonuses and just kill things. Or if you want to go do some crafting while you're waiting, you can queue and then switch your role and then be able to craft, but then once it queues, you're going to want to switch back to the role that you're going into the dungeon with. So, but that's basically a recap within itself. So, really, guys, I hope this guide works for you. I hope it helps you level up. I know that I struggled in the leveling process, and right now I've got my 50 White Mage, I've got a 26 Thaumaturge, 15 Arcanist. I think I've got I think my Gladiator's at 19 now. So things are moving along quite nicely. And I do want to note one other key thing. If you've gotten a character to level 50, then every other class also gets an additional bonus in all XP gain across the board for basically having that one character at level 50. It's basically their way of compensating you for not having any side or story missions left. So, you know, that helps too in the whole process, which is why you saw earlier, you know, a level 17 or 18 Fate got me like almost 8,000 experience. So, but yeah, so hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully this guide helped you guys. I worked really hard on it. You know, there's a lot to this, and I just hope it helps everybody out. So if you liked it, please hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more Final Fantasy. We're going to be bringing out some Black Ops soon as that drops in November, and we're also going to bring out some Destiny once that drops, you know, middle of next month. So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends. We would definitely appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day and enjoy your time in Final Fantasy Heavensward.